Hello, this is Zimmeron, and welcome to this Clickfunnels review video that's basically going to be a walkthrough of Actionetics. Now, rather than me walk through my demo account and so forth, it doesn't really have a lot of information, I've decided to do something different. I am going to let you watch Russell Brunson, who's one of the founders of Clickfunnels and who's an 8-figure internet marketer that's helped so many businesses multiply their income, and who's an absolute master of sales funnels and everything, explain to you and walk you through the functionality of Actionetics as it stands today. So please just go ahead and sit back and let's just watch let's watch Russell Brunson walk us through Actionetics so you can hear it from the man himself, and then I'll just come back at the end and wrap it up. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to always click on my links and like these videos and share it with people and so forth, and remember that if you ever do end up purchasing or subscribing for Clickfunnels through my links and getting the 14-day free trial, that you will qualify for my bonuses, okay, which is some really awesome training courses and being able to have direct access to me through Skype and email to help you with your online business. No cost, no charge, okay? I'm here to help, okay? But anyway, thank you so much. Take it away, Russell.
Actionetics is by far the biggest upgrade we've done to the Clickfunnels platform to date. And it's something that I've been begging developers for since day one because I know I need it. I got so sick and tired of integrating with all these other services, right? With integrating with autoresponders and all these things. And Clickfunnels still works that way, where if you want and you have an autoresponder you love, you can go and you can integrate into Clickfunnels. But if you want something different and you want something better, that's what Actionetics is all about. Now, Actionetics is a new program, and it's going to continue to evolve over the next year to 2 years and be able to do a whole bunch of really, really cool things. In fact, you probably watched our little explainer video that showed you the future of where we're going and what's happening inside of Clickfunnels. And I'm pretty sure that inspired you and got you really, really excited. But what I'm going to do now is I want to show you what's available inside of Clickfunnels and inside of Actionetics today, because this is what you're going to have a chance to start using. So I got a really quick demo video. I'm just going to show you the basics of how to use Actionetics, okay? Because as soon as you figure out how it works, it becomes really, really simple. But usually, when I first started using it, I need someone to look over my shoulder and say, Russell, do this and try this, and kind of this is how it works. And so I want to do that with you really quick. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is the contact profile section of Actionetics. Now, this is something that's going to keep getting cooler and cooler because as people join any of your email lists or they buy your products, we start gathering that data and we try to find out as much as we can about that person. We want to find out what social networks they're subscribed to. We want to find out what magazines they read, how much money they make, their demographics, as much stuff as possible. And you'll see that some of these features are in Actionetics now and some will be adding in the near future. But that's why this is so cool. It's not contact profiles. You can really dig deep and start seeing a lot about your people. So you first come here, obviously you'll be able to see how many contacts you have, new people have unsubscribed. You can see monetary value and also their social score. So those are the 4 core things we're looking for. So this person's score right now is 50. Now, if I come over here and if I hover on any of these bands, I'll be able to see more specifically what each thing is. If I have this green band right here is frequency. It's only 1%, which means she hasn't purchased from me very frequently. Looks like she's only purchased from me once, probably. The next band out here is now my recency score. So how recently has she interacted with me? So 94% means it was pretty recent that she actually interacted with my email or came to one of my funnels or did something, which is a good sign. Next right here is value. This is the monetary value. How much money is this person actually worth to me? So the score is pretty low at only 5.6. I mean, she hasn't purchased very often from me. And then the last one here is social, which is the 30%, which means her email address that she has used is associated with some social media accounts, which is a very important thing. We found that somebody whose email address is tied to a social media account on average is worth about 80 times as much as someone who gives you an email address that's not associated with a social media account. So that's a big one as well. So that gives us kind of an overall social score. Looks like her score right here is 22. Now, here you can see it pulls in a picture if we've got one, pulls in all our information, phone numbers, everything we have about the person, it'll show here. Then it also shows you what social networks their email address is associated with. So it's not associated with all of them, but associated associated with 3 here. Now, if she had them with a whole bunch of other social networks, her social score would go from 30 to maybe 80 or 90 or even 100%. So that's kind of how we can see how valuable this person actually is to you. And obviously the action score kind of moves around based on what they're doing and what they're buying, and so it gives you a really good picture of what's happening. Okay, now if I come down here, I can see the contact profile. I can see when were they first seen in my funnel, when were they last seen, as much information as we can pull from them. Over here, it shows me what she's purchased. So she bought the .com Secrets book, and the affiliate that promoted it to her was Jeff Walker. I come down here, I can see if she's bought any membership sites. She's not subscribed to any of my membership sites. I can see what emails she's gotten from inside of Actionetics, and she's not getting any emails from Actionetics, looks like. And then recent activity, I can see what pages in the funnel she's hit and when she hit them. So I can kind of spy on her and see, okay, is she coming back? How often is she coming there, and what's happening? So it gives you a really good idea of what's happening with that person. And so that is kind of the cool thing about Actionetics is the contact profiles. You can see a lot more about your people, and you'll see in the near future we're building out something called Smart Lists. You'll be able to actually create different lists based on who people are. So you can say anyone that's got a social score over 50, add them to this list. Now you got a specialist that's just based on a certain type of people that are on your list, or anyone who has purchased more than 3 times from me, add them to one of my hot buyer lists, or anyone who has interacted with me recently in the last 7 days, add them to this Smart List. And so you can create really cool criteria, and then based on what we know about those people, it'll automatically add people into those lists. So Smart Lists are coming really, really soon. What I want to show you first, though, is just our basic email lists. Okay, now I want to show you how we set up email lists. Now, email lists are very similar in other software it's kind of like a tagging system. So I'm setting up different lists for all of the different types of people that I may have and different segments I have in my list, right? So for example, for me, I recently set up an affiliate list. I haven't added anyone to it yet, but I have my affiliate list. I have one of my broadcast lists where I send out my newsletter to. I also have a seed list, like creating a seed list. So every email I send out, I also send it to the seed list, and I'll show you how to do that in the broadcast section, but that way I can see what all my emails look like. I've got ones for different soap opera sequences, for my coaching application forms, different buyer lists. And so I create different lists for different things. Sometimes you create them for your buyers. Sometimes you do them for people who registered for a webinar, or people who registered for a webinar but didn't show up, or people who showed up but they left early. Or you can create lists on pretty much anything you can dream of. And so what I like doing initially when I come in here is I start thinking, what are the lists I have in my different parts of my business, right? My webinar funnels, like what different lists would I like to have in that? Maybe I want a list for anyone who's who registered and showed up for my webinar, and I want a different list of people who didn't show up. So I can go and I can create lists really, really quickly. So I'm going to create a list really quick. I'm going to call this one webinar registrant, but no show. So this person didn't show up. And then I'll tag this, call webinar demo. So I'll tag it here, and that quick, I just created a list. So lists are very, very easy to set up. So the next logical question I give people all the time is, well, now my list is set up. I got a list here. How do I get people to join that list? Like what's the trick? And so that comes back now to your funnel. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to open up the funnel section of Clickfunnels, and I'm just going to add a really quick demo funnel for you. I'm going to do a webinar one, and I'll do webinar replay, and I'm going to do webinar demo, just so you guys can see how simple and how easy it is to get people added over into these lists. Okay, so here's my typical automated webinar funnel, and obviously I'm not going to build that out in this video. I just wanted to show you really quick this tab inside of Clickfunnels. You may not have used at this point, and if you haven't used Actionetics, I want to show it to you. So if you come right here, it says automation. So what happens here in automation is when somebody comes to this page, what do you want to have happen? What kind of automation? So I click here. And by default, you'll notice that Clickfunnels builds out a whole bunch of cool emails in here for your auto webinars. But let's just say we wanted to get rid of all these emails, and we didn't want to use the default ones. We want to make them very personal, and we want to do it through Actionetics. So for me, typically, I go through and I just delete all these. You'll see why here in a second. So on webinar registration page, we got some different segments. We've got everybody who registered, people who showed up but they registered but they missed the webinar, people who attended but they stayed on the webinar but they left early, and people who saw the offer but they didn't buy, and people who purchased. So these are different segments we have on an automated webinar funnel. So if you come back to Actionetics, you remember we set up a list called webinar registrants no shows. So what I'm going to do is that right here we've got these guys registered for webinar, but they didn't show up. So I'm gonna come right here, I'm gonna say add new action, and I say no shows. That'll be my thing. Condition to everyone who who missed the webinar. Integrate with Clickfunnels. I'm going to add them to a list. And what list am I going to add them to? I'm going to add them to this new little list we set up. Now I do create funnel action. And now when somebody registers for this page, if they register and they don't show up at the webinar, automatically Clickfunnels will immediately add them to this list. Does that make sense? Okay, if I want to do the same thing, like everyone that registers for my webinar, let's say I want to add a list. So I come back to Actionetics and I add a list and I call it all webinar registrants. Okay, so I make a new list for everyone who registered for the webinar now. So now all registrants get it. I come back over here and then I can go and I can add a new action. I say all registrant, and then condition, this is for people, for everyone who registered. Integration with Clickfunnels, action, I'm gonna add them to a list. I'm gonna add them to my webinar registrants list. Create a funnel action, and now everyone who registers will get this action, which says add them over here to this list. Okay, and that's how simple and how easy it is. Now I can do the exact same thing on, let's say, an opt-in funnel. Okay, so let me create one really quick. We'll do it really fast. If I create a basic opt-in funnel, and I come right here, I'm gonna build the funnel. Now typically, when you, let's see if I can find one really quick. All right, typically when I'm building an opt-in page, right, and I want to integrate the email autoresponder, I do that inside of the Clickfunnels editor, right? If you've done it before, if you've done Aweber or GetResponse or MailChimp or one of the other ones, when you're in the editor, you go and you select email integration and you integrate it here, right? But I don't have to do that here inside of Actionetics. I just come straight to the automation tab. And I say when anybody subscribed, when someone comes here and they put their email address in, I click on add new action. Join my list. Say everybody, and then what list I want to add them to. I add them to my .com secret soap opera sequence. Let's say I create a new funnel action. Now anybody who comes to this page here, as soon as they do that, they will automatically be added to. As soon as they opt in, they'll be added to my list. So that's kind of how we go and we get people now to join all of these different email lists that we've built here. Okay. Now I'm going to show you in the next video. I'm going to show you guys how to send an email broadcast to any of these lists. And the last thing I'm going to show you now is how to make it when someone joins this list. How do I send out a sequence of emails? So I say email 1, send out this. Email 2, send out this. Email 3, send out this text message. Email 4, take them off. Take them off this list, but add them to this list. And you can do a whole bunch of really cool things. I'll show you guys in the next 2 videos. Okay, next thing I want to show you is how to do an email broadcast. So the first step, you come right here and you click on Add New Email Broadcast. After I've clicked on that, it'll give me the ability now to set up everything I need for the email broadcast. So the first step is a subject line. So check out this awesome email. Okay, who's it going to be from? So my name. What email list do I want to send it to? Just click on here, it shows you all your different email lists. So I'm going to send it just to my seed list. Okay, and like I said, do I want to send this now or later? So I'm probably going to be sending this now. So leave it here. If I want to send it later, I click here and it'll give me the ability to pick when I want that to actually go out. I'm going to send it now. Then I click down here and here's some different email templates that are in here. So you can pick one that you like. So I'm just going to grab one real quick. And let's say I use this template. So I click on that and now I can see my email, a little demo, a little preview of it here, right? Now I'm going to show you how cool this is, the Clickfunnels and the Actionetics email editor. So I click right here on Open Email Editor. And you'll see that now, just like the Clickfunnels editor, I have an editor I can edit these emails and make them look pretty amazing. So they're pretty cool. So the first thing is I can come down. So let's just say I'm gonna come here and I can delete this row. So I'll delete this. Let's say I want to come down. I want to add something. So I come to the bottom and say Add New Row. So you want it to be 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. So let's say I add 3 rows. I got this right here. I'm gonna move it up to the very top so I can have it for my new top header. So like these little arrows, it'll move it up to the top. I got here, I can click on Add New Element. And I can add a text headline, an image element, a button, a divider, a bullet point, a calendar, or social media links. In the future, we'll add more options, but these are the core ones right now. So I'm gonna add an image. So I have an image here, and I can go in here. I can put in, let's say, one of my logos, or I can put in whatever I want there. So I'm gonna come down here and just grab my logo just to save us time for this video, but you guys will see how it all works. So I paste my logo in here. Now I have my logo there, and I can add an element here if I wanted to add a button. Let's say I want to say buy my stuff now. I can have the button go to whatever I like. Let's say it's eBay. Oops. Something like that. And I can have a button here. I can make it, I can shrink my button size down, things like that. And I can add in, let's say, a divider. Now, obviously, this isn't a good good email design, having logo, button, divider, but just to show you guys how simple it is to work, that I can save this email. I can click on preview. It'll pop out. I can see, oh, that's what my email looks like. Looks pretty cool. I can change it if I need to, but that's just kind of how it works. Just like the ClickFunnels editor. It's very simple and easy to go and edit. For me, it's a lot of fun. Don't you love Actionetics? Okay, so I got that, and I'm going to delete this top bar because it turned out not cool, but hopefully illustrated what we needed to do. I can come through, I can delete different things, but I'm just going to save that now. I can also edit the pre-header. Sometimes if you look at an email that comes through on your phone, you'll see like a pre-header where it starts showing the first couple lines. If you want to do this, you can use this as almost like a second headline. So I'll say something like be sure to open this email because it's awesome. And now when someone sees that inside there, they'll see the from name. So my from name, my subject line, plus they'll see this first line. So I can edit that here, which is kind of cool. Otherwise, the email editor will kind of pull some random line out of here. And sometimes they pull in stuff that you don't really want. So it's kind of cool to have the pre-header here. Also your page settings, if you want to change the fonts, the background color, things like that are all here as well. But that is how simple it is to edit emails inside the ClickFunnels email editor. Now I have it done. Let's say, okay, I want to broadcast this. So I'm going to say, send it now. So I click right here on send email, and the seed list that I chose is instantly going to go and send out that email to the seed list. If I scroll down here, you'll see here to send emails, Actionetics sending now. And so as they start coming in, you'll see how many people open, how many clicks, what the conversion rates were, and you'll be able to kind of see those things on your email broadcast. And so that is how we do an actual email broadcast inside of ClickFunnels. I then go to my actual email and I can see, boom, there is the email. Look how awesome and amazing it looks. So that's how simple, you guys, it is to send out a broadcast email. Okay, the last thing I want to show you, and this is probably my favorite part about Actionetics, is the action funnels. Now, basically, when somebody joins any one of your email lists, you can then add them into an action funnel. An action funnel is a whole bunch of steps that happen to that person, okay? And so you can see I've set up a bunch here in my company, but it's very simple and easy to do. So I'm going to say, add new action funnel. I'm going to call this one, we'll call this webinar demo. Okay, and so I set it up, I say, what list to sign? So when somebody joins my webinar registrants, when they join my webinar, so as soon as they join the webinar, add them to this action funnel. So that's the list. So I chose the list, and here's the action funnel. I click create new action funnel. This is where the fun happens. I can basically come through and add a whole bunch of different steps here. As you'll see right now, the core steps you can add are email, text message. You could also add in internal ClickFunnels action sequences, and I'll show you that here in a second. But in the near future, you'll be able to add even more things, a whole bunch of other cool things like changing the sales funnel on the fly, doing a bunch of other amazing things as well. So those are all coming, but I want to show you what we've got right now. So the first step now is I add my first step. So the first step I'm going to say is I'm going to make this an actual action. I'm going to say take off of other lists. When do I trigger? 0. So I want it to happen immediately. So I add new funnel step. So what I want when someone joins my list, I don't want them getting a bunch of emails from a bunch of other lists. My first thing I'm going to do is I'm taking them off other lists. And I'll show you how to do that right here. Click on settings and it says, okay, action. ClickFunnels internal, what to do, remove from lists. I can say remove will list. Okay, remove them from my broadcast list. So this is my newsletter, so take them off my newsletter list. So all they're getting now is that. Okay. Now what I might want to do is at the end of my sequence, I might want to add them back on that list. So I'm going to add another step that says add back to newsletter. So I'm going to make this one go, let's say after day 10. And this is an action. So I add that. And now you'll see that my last day in this action funnel, as I come here, I'm going to add them now back into my newsletter list. So they'll be added back in. So that's kind of cool. I like doing those at the beginning and the end of an action funnel. And now if you want to dig deeper, you can add new rule groups and saying, well, for only people who have so much social, following, or only people who are in this funnel, or only people who bought this product, you can dig deeper and do a whole bunch of techie stuff. So they bought this product from me, then do this, but if not, then don't. And for most of you guys, you're not going to use this. For the smart guys who are smarter than me, you can definitely use that, but I definitely don't use that very often. Okay, so I come here, and the next thing is after I create any step, by default it's pause. Okay, because I don't want to be working on something else and all these people are getting emails. So as soon as you're done with it, click on paused, set it to live, and then boom, now when someone comes, that step is now live in the sequence. Okay, now I'm going to start adding some emails. So I'm going to say get awesome email number 1 will be my first step. I'm gonna have that one trigger immediately as well, and that's gonna be an email. So I add new funnel step. Okay, so I'm gonna get an awesome email. Now I'm gonna add another step. Let's say I'm gonna send a text message, get awesome text message. So I'm gonna text them, and I'll have that happen immediately as well. Okay, so what happens really cool is as soon as somebody joins this action funnel, I take them off my other email lists, they're getting an email and they're getting a text message all immediately. Okay, now I'm gonna say day one indoctrination video. So I'm gonna send them an email. I'm gonna have this happen one day, add it to the step. So now day 1, they're gonna get this email and say day number 2 video. Now they're gonna get this one on day 2. And so for me, I kind of build out what do I want my sequence to look like? And I come here and I just start building it out. And it's really fun, as you can see. So I'll keep building this thing out. Now day 3, they're gonna get that. And I'll say day 4, let's send them a text message. So I'll say text message here on day 4. And again, I keep building this out for as long, as complex as you want. But let's just say we have that right now, right? So now I come here to the actual emails. I click right here. And now I can write the email. So I pick what email template I want for this email. So I grab email template. Basically, just like I did with the broadcast email, I'm going to go in and edit that email. All right, now I can go in. I can open the email editor. I can edit it just like we did before. What's cool is that you can come back there and see how many people right now are on this step. Okay, so there's 300 people tomorrow getting this email, and this is how many emails have been sent so far and how many have been opened and clicked. So you can kind of see step by step in your sequence how many people are flowing through this at any given time, which is really cool. So now that email is there. Now again, it's paused. So after I've done editing the email, then I go and I unpause it, make it live, and boom, now they'll get that email. Okay, and I keep doing that through the rest of the sequence. And so that's how it works, you guys. It's really fun and really easy. Here's my text message. Same thing, I click settings. What's the message going to be? Check your email for cool stuff. Okay, and I got to choose my integration as well. Update text, and now Twilio will text that out to everybody if I have their email address. I just got to unpause it, make it live. And boom, now that's there. So that's the core on how we use action funnels. Now, some of you guys are asking, and how do we set up Twilio? How do we set up the email, the SMTP for these emails to go out? Inside your account, come up here, go to settings. And when you're in settings, so the first thing you do is come to SMTP settings, and here's where you're going to set up where your emails are coming from. So for me, I send all my emails from SendGrid. So I set up my SendGrid credentials here, and now all the emails come out from SendGrid. Down here on integrations, you can click right here on text message integrations, and here I set up Twilio. So you set up Twilio, and that'll take care of all of your text messages. And so in settings is where you set up where all these things are coming from Actionetics. Where are the emails being sent from? Where are the text messages being sent from, and things like that. And so that's kind of the last step. And so that, you guys, is how we use Actionetics. All right, so what do you guys think? Are you excited as I am? I love Actionetics. It has given me the ability to do what I couldn't do with dozens of other software programs all in one spot. It's all inside of my Clickfunnels account. I can now see everything about my customers all in one spot, which is amazing. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. Now that you watched that demo video,
So that was Actionetics. Pretty cool, huh? There's a lot of functionality in there. There's a lot more functionality coming, and ClickFunnels is really set to replace Infusionsoft and Ontraport and Saxa and all of these other different Kajabi and all of these other full-blown online business management systems. And there's a lot more coming, and there's a lot of functionality that people don't even realize it's available in ClickFunnels or that's coming. From a sales and marketing perspective, having the sales funnels and all the pages and everything integrate together and work seamlessly, there is nothing like this out there that's a super simple, drag and drop easy, that anyone can learn, very, very quickly. And they've got great support. And of course, I'm also offering my support as well. So if you need help, you can ask me. I'll give you my email address. You can get onto my mailing lists. Make sure to subscribe and like, and you'll get Skype access to me. And I'm quite happy to spend some time with people and help them out. And I'm also going to be doing a lot more videos specifically about sales funnels and webinars as well, where I'm going to go into different aspects of the online world and online business. And a lot of the times I try and gear it towards what people are asking for and what people are needing. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to watch all of my other videos, okay? But again, just make sure to click on my links and subscribe and like and all of that fun stuff, okay? So I want to know what you think, and I want to help you out, and what can I say? Thank you.